We're going to continue with some ideas for this next coming year as a club. Now, our club, Brașov Toastmasters, as I said, I think Brașov Toastmasters Club can have a great impact. It has had a great impact in many people's lives. And Toastmasters has a lot to do with helping people improve their communication leadership skills. And then that way they influence not only in work, but their families, friends, everywhere. So there's quite an impact you can have, an influence from being in Toastmasters. So I think the club is what we're trying to rescue. I mean, our club is so small right now, but it used to be a lot bigger. So the challenge is for us to see if we can take this club and make it great again. Because it used to be, a couple of years ago, it was a lot different. Here we see, this is what the club looked like back in 2013. There's a few people there. Are you? Drago, should I even know?
No, I'm not in this picture.
What happened to them?
Well, like a lot of people, some people got married, some people had kids, some people left. You know, there's all kinds of reasons why.
Christian has a tally on the number of kids there. It's like 16 up to now.
But anyway, this is what our club used to be like, and you see what it's like right now. If this continues like this is what's going to happen. Our club's going to die. We need to really make the effort if we want to see this succeed in Brașov as an English-speaking club. Now, do you remember the 3 C's for this, as Drago said? What are the 3 C's? Drago's already said, so someone else has to say it.
Commit.
Challenge.
Yes, no, you're right. I will just tease you.
Commit, challenge, and speed them all. It's one of them.
Commit. No. What's next? That's what we're going to go today. Commit.
Connect.
And challenge.
And change.
Change.
Okay.
I have something for the challenge.
So again, commit, connect, change. See that? Do you see what there's in there?
A cocoon.
It's a cocoon. So we transform it into something beautiful. Commit, connect, change. The change will happen once we commit and connect with one another and connect with what we're doing. So these are the things that will result in change. Change will be the end result of those 2 things. Now last week we talked about commit. Yeah, whoops, sorry. We looked at commit. Now we're going to, we looked at commit last week. Now we're going to look at connect. And I want you to tell me, when you hear the word connect, what kind of ideas come to your mind?
Social.
Social.
Networking.
Networking.
Nokia.
But a lot of it has to do with relationship in some way or another. Now, the first thing we want to do is learn how to connect with our members, and how can we improve that? Also, how can we connect with other clubs, and how can we connect with our community? Because by doing those 3 things, it'll help make our club better. Let's start with connect to members. I'm going to, every week we can connect with each other through coming to the meeting. Just coming to the meetings leads to connection. And staying after, talking. One thing that was nice about being at Prefectura was that we could go over somewhere afterwards and hang out, Here's kind of you here and then you hang out. It's kind of nice if we can go somewhere, so that would be nice to change. But I'm going to show you some of the things we used to do in the club. Alright, what is this? Anybody know?
Movie night.
Movie night. We used to have movie night once a month. I used to do it at my apartment, but I stopped doing it because only 1 or 2 people were coming. So if there's an interest in it, we'll start doing it again. And I was talking to Andrei Popescu, and he gave me a great idea for a first movie, and that would be The King's Speech.
Yeah, I saw it.
That would be a good one for us to watch and then talk about it afterwards. All right, we used to go do activities. Like we went to a tulip festival in Pitești, I think it was.
Tulip?
The tulip festival. You see? Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's like 6 or so of us went there. And we've had cooking days. Here I was teaching them how to make chocolate chip cookies. But then 3 or 4 people would make something, and we'd all come and we'd learn how to make a certain thing. And we'd sit and eat it all. So it was a lot of fun. We used to do that occasionally. We used to have what's called learn and play. Did you ever go to those, Dragos, at all? The learn and plays?
No.
But basically it would be on a Saturday, and you'd come, and in the morning we'd have some workshops, and then in the afternoon we'd go do some fun activities. And then we have like the club birthday party, or just getting together and doing things. There was supposed to be something this weekend, as we talked earlier, but they're going to put that off. So that's one way we could connect with some of the other clubs in town, because they invited everybody from the 3 Toastmaster clubs to come to that. Now, what other kind of things do you think we could do to connect with one another? Is there anything more, any other ideas that you would have?
I don't know if I would start with the things that we need to do, but I will start with the reasons why some of the people are not attending, why some of the people are exiting the club. I mean, do we have any information why things went from a lot of people coming from just a small part of that group?
Well, part of it I could say was, like I said, a lot of people's lives change. Things kind of go in cycles, so a lot of people kind of cycle through at the same time. But the other thing is, we just haven't had as many people really interested in learning to become better speakers. We just haven't connected with the people in town who are interested in that. So we've kind of, if anything, we need to figure out how we can get out there public relations wise to let people know what we're doing. So I think that's the biggest issue we have with that. Now, as far as connecting to clubs, by the way, and all the stuff I'm saying now, it's not that we have to do all these things. I just want to get some ideas out there to think about, because we won't start trying to do all kinds of stuff at once, especially when we're a small group. But at least we can get some ideas on maybe what we can work towards. Now, this connecting to clubs, okay, we have 3 clubs in town. This is the Cerner Club. It's a corporate club.
Really?
Huh?
It's that big?
I mean, there's some guests there. It was Christmas Day, Christmas party, so there's a few more. But we generally have 15 people.
That's a lot.
So that's pretty good. Then there's the Transylvania Romanian Toastmasters Club. And then, so we can connect with those in town, and that we can connect in helping them with their contest. They can help us with our contest. We can have picnics, but we can figure out things we can do together just to enjoy ourselves as Toastmasters, what we can do together to improve as Toastmasters. Then there's going beyond that and connecting with the clubs within the area or even within the division. Now this is Sirius is a club in Bucharest, and they're a huge club. They're really big, and it's actually way bigger than this right now. It's been growing quite a bit. But there's one thing there in Bucharest, they have a lot more professional people that want to grow as speakers, and so they have a lot of interest. In some clubs, they actually make it very strict in becoming members. You have to really meet certain requirements to become a member because they have so many. So it's a little different environment there. So can you think of any other ways to connect with clubs?
Well, I would think, for example, how would someone connect with us? We have a Facebook account. I mean, there are ways in which they can connect to at least a person from our club. And I guess in other clubs there are people there that can be contacted and maybe ask them, well, we could always ask for a list with all the officers, and maybe I'm going to be a treasurer and I can ask the current treasurer or the future treasurer, since we no longer have a treasurer. We haven't had the treasurer in a year or so. And I will go to the officers training at the boot camp, when it's going to be announced, but I would still want to know how other clubs do it. So that's one way to connect, at least with the equivalent officer, and you can work out from there. Maybe ask questions, how do you do certain things? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but he knows all the other officers, and if you can connect truly with one person, it's a lot easier to connect with the other people afterwards.
Right.
That's
just the idea you said, we could connect by going to boot camp. That's how we can connect with other
I have an opinion here. Maybe it's just an idea. We can vote or pick somebody once every month or 2 months. Somebody goes to a different club. It's just not enforced, but let's say, hey, you're going to Bucharest this month, but the next month somebody else, maybe Florin is going, maybe I'm going.
Yeah.
And we pick a different club. For example, not only Bucharest, but we just pick a club and
Yeah.
we can
Especially-
get ourselves known.
Especially if you're traveling around and doing something else. You know?
We can, for example, like every 2 months, somebody from our club goes to another club.
Yeah, because like if I'm in Bucharest, I go to the other club meetings because they have club meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so there's like 6 clubs in Bucharest, so there's a lot of options. But that's right. But also I would encourage you just to go to the Romanian clubs. Since you guys are Romanians, go there once in a while just to see what it's like. You know, get to know the
Just
people.
look from above, yeah?
I'm thinking that if we want to grow this club, we have to think about this club as a business and to which are our prospects. Where do we have any action plan? Do we need an online strategy like Alex says? We have this Facebook page where you post an article every, I don't know which interval, but we have to have more activity there. We have to be more present. We should think of which people are we targeting, what is the profile of the people that I would like to have here in this club, and then to go out and reach for that. And that could mean online, that can mean offline, like to have some flyers, to have some, but we have to think about the marketing and promoting strategy for our club, and then start to get references from people that have been to here and had a good opinion, to ask the people which are now in the club to recommend the club to other person. We need a pipeline, like a sales pipeline, where like we have to know which people we want to have here.
Yes.
And how we
Yes.
can bring them.
You should run for vice president of Brașov. You should be the PR guy.
I was looking at the role here while he was speaking.
But yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
But let's go on, because some of these things are, okay, how do we connect to our community? Now I'm just going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you a few ideas. I don't have any graphics from here on, I just have words, but public relations, like we were talking about. We do need to find out exactly, I was going to say exactly what you said about what we're going to do. We need to be able to figure out how to connect and get the information out so people know.
Even to have a roll-up as an event, as
Yes.
Brașov Heroes, there were 1,000 people there. We could be visible to all of them.
Yes. And sometimes we have been involved in things. There's a lot of things you don't know about the club,
Yeah.
but it's just that it hasn't, we're not doing much lately because there isn't very many people. Participation in activities that are going on in the community, like Brașov Heroes. And there's also been like business days, you know, like Brașov Business Days and things like that, where in the past the club has had people go and do trainings like that. So there's ways we can think of how we can connect with our community by participating in things that are going on in the community. And then I want to think about education. And from this, I'll explain this a little bit more in a bit, because there's a couple of programs that Toastmasters has to be able to do some education in the community to kind of get people involved in Toastmasters. But I was thinking even how we could, if you could make connections with different principals or whoever in schools, where you could go on into the schools and maybe do like a couple of days where you talk about how to be a speaker, and you introduce young high schoolers to what it takes to become a speaker. Also with some of these different organizations and nonprofits, where you could put together a workshop where you could help teach them. So you could do ways of accessing community groups this way. And that this fits in with this, NGOs and schools. How we would go about figuring out what can we do to help these people, because a lot of these people need to know how to present. They're NGOs, they're going in front of people to present their cause, what they're doing, and maybe we have some things to offer them that they could benefit from. Then this one is just one I put up, but I have to think about how can we benefit governmental agencies or different things that the government does here in Brașov. Is there ways that Toastmasters could figure out how we could help in those situations? Just a thought. Now here's the two things I was thinking about, and I don't know if you can read, okay, that's not, Speechcraft. Actually, Christian's been wanting to do this, he has all the information ready. Speechcraft is like doing a workshop on how to become a speaker. And you go and you can charge people money for it, and you organize it, and you do it over a weekend, or a couple weekends, or 4 or 5 weeks, and people can get introduced to speaking that way. Then there's also the youth leadership program, which is for doing Toastmaster related things with kids in school. So they actually have like a curriculum for this. And you could try to, if you could make connections with principals or people in authority in the schools, where you could actually go in and do this program with the kids. That way, when they come out of school, then they're going to be more open to becoming Toastmaster members. So is there any other things you think about when you think about connecting in a community?
Well, I do enjoy the fact that, for example, Vali goes to so many events, and I believe he, only by going to different events, he brought us many guests over the time. I mean, it's not, he doesn't like have to go and speak about Toastmasters all the time or suffocate people with information about it. But for example, if he goes into an environment where there are people that maybe talk, well, I'd like to speak better in public or so, he can go and say, well, I know a place where you can do that. And since he meets a lot of people while going to all these projects like Brașov Heroes and many others, it's like a fountain of new people that can find out about us. But as I said, people that want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can find the people that want to do that and try, come here and give it a try, because you need to attract the right people.
Right. You have to, well, you want to attract people where this could really benefit them, professionally
Exactly.
especially.
And it's also very important after you're bringing those people here to be able to convert them as members.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because
that's the responsibility of the Vice President membership, to do follow-up with them.
Mhm.
So,
Do we have any procedure or structure on that?
yes, yes.
Okay.
One of the things I was thinking we could do is we could try to identify maybe the 10 top companies in town that could benefit from what we do. You know, like the kind of people that work for them, do they do trainings, do they do a lot of presentation? If we could identify the top 10 companies and then go speak to them. And in other places in Europe, what they've done these kind of like summits where they invite all these companies to come and they do a day-long workshop on showing companies the benefits of Toastmasters and take them through things. And so those are kind of possibilities too. As we come to a close, again, it is a challenge what we want to do here. And one of the biggest challenges is time. Right? Because everything takes time, and that's what I've always felt like. No matter what we do, it's just there's a limit on people's time, and so we got to figure out what can we do to be most effective with the time that we have. And then as we get more members and it grows back, then we can do a lot more things. But we can try to figure out what's the best things we can do that will be the most effective for the amount of people we have at this point. Also, people, you know, they're busy with life and they get tired, and so we could do too much. And that's one thing about when the club is a lot bigger, then, like I said, people can specialize in doing special, you know, they have a certain special activity. It doesn't take everybody to do it. But right now, it takes about almost to get anything done. So again, just think about how connecting with people or connecting with each other, connecting with clubs, connecting with community can help us to become a better club. And always remember this, what's the goal? Is we're trying to equip people to impact the world for good. Equip them by speaking and their leadership skills. So be encouraged. I say this, thank you very much.